bit trickier, okay? And that is, what do we do when we have a negative exponent? You guys were rocking. When I had 3 to the 4th, you knew how to do that. And when I had negative 2 to the 3rd, notice 4, 3, all of those were positive exponents. And you did an excellent job with those, okay? So what we've got to figure out now is, what the heck does it look like when I have a negative exponent? You got to guess?
Yeah.
What?
Don't you do, because it's like backwards, you go left, and don't you do like zeros in the front?
No, I think you're thinking scientific notation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tessa?
How does it become a fraction?
It does.
Oh.
Say that a little louder.
It
Becomes a fraction, okay? So a negative exponent is just a fancy way of writing a fraction. It's just a different way to write a fraction, okay? So when I look at something like a to the n with a negative there, okay? What you're going to do is put 1, oops, I'll highlight, 1 over, and then this guy is just going to drop to the bottom of your fraction, okay? So you're going to have a to the n on the bottom. So anytime you have a negative exponent, it just means flip sides. So if it was on the bottom, we'd push it to the top. Just change sides, okay? So negative n is going to drop down, become a to the n, and we're going to put a 1 up on top, okay? So now let's look at the next one here. 7 to the negative 3.
It's 1 over 7 to the power.
Very good, okay? So we're going to have 1 over 7 to the 3rd. Now, we're not going to figure out what 7 to the 3rd is right now, okay? I just want us to practice writing it as a fraction. So when we have 7 to the 3rd, we're going to push it to the bottom, okay? If there's nothing on top, you always put a 1 up there, okay?
What happens to the negative?
When it switches sides, it goes away. So then if I were to bring it back up, it turns negative again. So when it crosses that line, it changes signs. Think of it that way, okay? All right, so if it was like something like 6 to the negative 2, how would I make this guy positive? Bring it up to the top. So when you bring this up to the top, it now becomes 6 squared on top. Okay, so when it crosses the fraction bar, the barrier, if you think of a barrier, when it crosses that, it changes the sign. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Since it's going up for the 6 to the power 2, would it just be 6 to the power 2 because
Yes.
over 1 is just
Right, because, I mean, over 1, we don't need to put that, okay? Now, the 1 on top, though, that's a big deal. If you think about 4 and 1/4, those are not the same. You know what I mean? Putting a 1 on top is a big deal. We have to make sure we do that, okay? All right, so now, on the next one here, we've got negative 5 to the negative 2 power.
What would be a negative fraction? Like a negative 5 squared, 5 squared?
Yes, okay, so just take this and drop it. I'm not looking for anything fancy here right now. So you're just going to take it and drop it, and so we're going to have negative 5 squared, okay? Now notice, my base doesn't change. Whatever this is inside stays. The only thing that changes is the little exponent guy. That's the only thing I'm teaching you about today, is the little guys, okay? So everything for this chapter, I'm going to be teaching you about little guys. The big guys still are always as they have been, okay? And then what are we going to put up on top? 1. So now, if I asked you to go ahead and simplify this, what would you get? 1 over 25. That's right. Negative 5 squared. Negative 5 times negative 5 would be 25. Okay? All right. So now, what if I have w to the negative 4?
It would be 1,
Maybe
negative 1.
No?
1 over the exponent of 1.
Yeah, 1 over w to the 4th is how we would say that. So the w to the 4th is going to drop, right? And so we're going to get 1 over w to the 4th.
if you did that, would you solve it? Would you just get like 4?
No, w to the 4th, w's a no, we don't know what it is, we can't do anything else with it. Okay? Unless I can tell you w is 2 or something, then you can figure it out. But since we don't know what w is, you just leave it. Okay? All right. So 0 can never be a base to a negative exponent. All right? The result will be undefined. So if we're thinking about 0 being a base, so if I have like 0 to the negative 3, all right, and you guys would tell me to drop that, correct? Okay, so that would give me 0 to the 3rd and put a 1 on top. Can you have 0 on the bottom of a fraction?
No.
No, that's why it's undefined. That's a big no-no. Okay, so 0 is causing all kinds of problems today. Okay, all right, so Also take note, right here, that this guy, they don't equal, right? Okay, these are not the same thing, okay? When I take this guy and drop it down, I'm going to get 1 over negative x squared. Is everybody okay with that so far? So the only thing that changed was my exponent. Now, what's negative x times negative x, do you think? What's a negative times a negative?
Positive.
Positive. So it's going to end up being 1 over x squared. And we'll talk more about that here soon, okay? So if we look at that, though, that drops. Where this guy's a little different, okay? The only thing that's raised to the negative is that x on this guy. All right? So that negative, so I'm going to kind of come out this way with it. That negative 1 would stay up on top, okay? And the x squared would fall to the bottom. So again, parenthesis versus non-parenthesis, one's positive, one's negative. Okay? Again, negative doesn't matter. Front, you can put it way out front, you can put it down here with the x. It doesn't matter. Okay? Do you have a question, Ben?
I was gonna say, what happens if the exponent is positive? What happens?
Then it would just stay, right? If we had x squared, it would just stay as x squared. Right? It only changes if it's negative. Okay? All right, so now, what would your answer be? Let's look at the next guy here, the negative 6. What would your answer for this guy right here be, do you think? Ashley, what do you got?
Would it be 1 over negative 6, positive 2, or 2, yeah.
Right, and then what would that become?
1 over 6 to the power 2.
Well, no, so negative 6 times negative 6 is 36.
Yeah, that,
Right?
that is
Okay.
the range.
So then what would this other guy be? Link, you're up on this one. What would this guy be? What's your answer here going to be?
So you bring it down, would be negative 6, 2.
Okay, so negative 6 squared.
Yeah, 2. Then would it be 36, negative, positive 36?
I like your negative better. Right? Because you're only squaring the 6?
Yeah. forgot.
Okay. Again, doesn't matter where the negative's at. Top, bottom, front, doesn't matter. Okay? All right, so now let's actually get to some problems where you gotta come up with answers on your own a little bit here. Okay, so now we're gonna simplify. So go ahead and take a second. 4 to the negative 3. Write down what you think the answer should be there. 4 to the negative 3. In fact, once you go ahead and do A, B, and C, let's do all 3 of these and then we'll talk about all 3. Okay, so A, B, and C, write down what you think the answer should be. And if it's not right, no big deal, just erase.